Because that's just something Coach Freeman prides us as, just one day at a time, one play, one life, one week, one life, and that's literally what it is. Like last week was Syracuse, this week Clemson. We weren't thinking about Clemson no prior than the Sunday, so that's our task at hand, and that's our opponent this week, and we're just going to attack it like we do every other week.
Here come the Irish. What a run! Touchdown! Play of the year for the Irish.
Welcome to the ND on NBC Podcast, presented by Salesforce. I'm your host, Corey Robinson, and congratulations once again. We're on a roll, aren't we? Notre Dame won 41-24 against Syracuse. This was important. I know that Syracuse is currently ranked number 22, but at the time of the victory, number 16. What does this teach us before we dive in briefly into the game for highlights? It teaches us what we already knew about this team. It confirms, it validates, and that is that Notre Dame plays good against good teams and bad against bad teams. What does that mean for you and I, the casual fan, or the really diehard fan, or the fan who's a part of a family who are diehard fans? It means that there is a disconnect somewhere, right? And I think that word is fundamentals, technique, execution, whichever one you prefer. But that idea of, well, how can you play really good teams really good, but bad teams badly? There's a lapse in attention to detail. And that's why we've kept hearing over and over again, Houston Griffith, Brandon Joseph, people coming on the podcast and telling us technique, execution, fundamentals, week after week after week. And another word that Brandon Joseph, this was like a foreshadowing weeks ago. He told us turnovers. Highlight it, put it on your board, and write it on your mirror. That was the thing that they kept telling us over and over and over again, is turnovers are coming. I know they're not coming yet. They're coming. It happened. Opening drive. And it was Brandon. I was so happy for him because I was thinking, he told us this weeks ago, and he's been waiting for this for weeks. And it finally happened in a big game on the road. Congratulations, Brandon. The other thing I really want to highlight here is that now Michael Mayer has done it. He has made history. He set the all-time receiving yards record by a tight end, and that's massive. We are witnessing history in real time. We knew this was going to happen. It's one of those things where when he was a freshman, we all kind of knew that he was special, and it was almost like a matter of time. And we're kind of watching him take step by step for the past couple of years, and now we're actually seeing it happen, where records are being shattered and being blotted out, and new names are being written in. And he still has another one to get, and that is the touchdown top spot, which he's tied for at the current moment. A lot of games left. He's going to get it. But we want to focus on the running game. I mean, Audric Estime, 20 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was the hero, and he joined us. The sophomore running back joined the pod to talk about his journey, his plans post-football, hopefully in many, many, many years, which you wouldn't believe it. He wants to be a lawyer. That's been his dream, to be an NFL player and a lawyer since he was a little kid. For more, let's hear it directly from Audric Estimé himself. I am thrilled, so happy to be here with player of the game. I mean, sheesh, this guy is balling out here, Audric Estimé. Look, you had a huge game against Cuse, and let's just kind of go straight there, because when I see those numbers that you put up, I think, what was your mentality heading into this game? For you, when you were in the locker room, what were you thinking about heading into that game?
I was just thinking, I got to trust my teaching. Our coaches did their best to prepare us for this matchup, and I just got to stick to the game plan, stick to my training, and just execute, honestly. And that's what I did, and that's what we did as a team.
It's interesting to have that level of maturity as such a young player. How did you develop that level of maturity?
I kind of just think to myself, there's not, like, time's ticking, time's only going on. So, like, honestly, I just got to be on a consistent urgency. So no matter what, I just got to make it happen now. There's no time for the future. There's no time to look back in the past. You just, everything that you want and everything you got to do it now in the present. So that was our task. Syracuse was our task at hand last Saturday, and that was our challenge ahead of us. So I just want to do whatever I could do to attack that and be successful.
And now we were just talking before you jumped on, and you're like, I'm 100% task at hand this week for Clemson. It's a big game. When you see a game like that, Clemson, this late in the season, when you're leading into the season, how do you make sure you stay focused week to week and not just jump ahead and say, hey, we got a huge game in November?
Because that's just something Coach Freeman prides us as, just one day at a time, one play, one life, one week, one life, and that's literally what it is. Like last week was Syracuse, this week Clemson. We weren't thinking about Clemson no prior than the Sunday, so that's our task at hand, and that's our opponent this week, and we're just going to attack it like we do every other week.
So when you're breaking down this Clemson film, what do you see out there, just from this defense?
Oh, we see a lot of big dudes. We see a lot of physical guys. So we know for a fact it's going to be a physical game. We see a lot of veterans and a lot of experience. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, but that's what we're here for. That's why we come to Notre Dame to play in big time games like this. And I'm just looking at it, and we're all just looking at it as a golden opportunity.
When I see you out there, Audric, I mean, you're huge. Like you're big and physical. Like you're big and physical too.
Yes, sir.
When you run, how would you describe your style of play? How would you describe your running if you had to break it down?
I describe myself as a complete all down, all do it all running back. Even though I'm a big back, like that's no surprise. I use that to my strengths and advantage when I'm running downhill. I'm gonna run physical, but I'm also a back who can do quick cuts, that's elusive, that can bounce, that can run past you, stiff arm, go over you. So I pride myself to be able to do everything, because there's going to be a situation in a game where you're going to need to be able to do other things. So I will be able to do everything.
So take me back to last year, being a young guy on the team. You're on campus, probably. I don't know if you were wide-eyed, and that sounds like you're very mature. To then having this role on this team in only a year's time. When you were, I guess, how's that transition been for you as such a young player?
Honestly, I just had to stay ready no matter what. Like last year, if I was going to get thrown in, I was going to be ready this spring. I was just got to stay prepared no matter what. Because like I said in the beginning, I said time's never slowing down and never stopping for anyone. So time's only ticking. So you only have a certain amount of opportunities. And I just say every time I get an opportunity, I just got to take advantage of it. And this year with the new staff and new kind of leaving everything, I just got an opportunity, and I just took advantage of it, and I'm still to this day trying to take advantage of that.
Was there a particular moment? Can you pinpoint when exactly you felt like this is the call? Because sometimes in show business you get that call and it's like, hey, this person's out, and you're like, oh, I'm the understudy. It's my time to shine. Did you have a particular moment like that?
Yeah, for sure. So, honestly, when Kyron left to the bowl for the bowl game, and Sibo, our other running back, went down last year. So that kind of elevated me in the rotation. So I'm like, this is an opportunity. This is time for me to get better. And plus the springtime when we got a whole new coaching staff. So everything was kind of back to square one. And I was like, this is just everything you wanted to work for. This is everything you worked for this opportunity. You just got to take advantage of it.
So take me into the mindset of Audric Estimé. Help me understand who are some of the big influences on you? Because when you talk about time, like I said, I haven't met many people under the age of 20 who talk about time that way and think about, opportunities that way. Who taught you how to think about it that way?
It's honestly my family, honestly. I'm a big family guy. I listen to my family no matter what. I feel like they influence a lot of choices I make, but they also made me they kind of influenced me with the choices I make. So just that, and just looking at the older guys on my team, like Bo, you've seen Bo Bauer go down, Avery Davis. Those are old guys that we all look up to, and those guys aren't able to play football anymore. So just taking advantage of the opportunities you have right now in front of you, because you never know when your time's going to come to an end. And just a lot of people pray and do everything to be in my shoes, to be in my position, to be a Notre Dame football player, Notre Dame running back. And I have the opportunity, so I can't just let that slip out my hand. I got to do something great and something big with that.
And the running back room at Notre Dame, I always find it to be an interesting dynamic. I mean, you guys, every year it seems like it's just like this group of people who are like selfless. I guess, how would you describe that running back room? Because y'all seem like you work together so beautifully.
Oh, yeah, like you said, selfless. Everyone in our room selfless. We're all just striving to get better, honestly. We're all just pushing each other every day. We're always critiquing each other. Like when we come off on the side, I go to Logan or Logan comes to me, or Chris, or vice versa. We're always like saying like what we could see, what could have been better, or that was good. Or if someone makes a big play, it's all right, it's your turn, you got to make the big play. So we're always just feeding off each other's energy, honestly. And we're just always just elevating every day and every week.
Who, if you had to break down maybe personalities in the running back room, like, like the leader versus like the Energizer Bunny or whatever, what are the personalities attached to each of those guys? Logan, yourself, and Chris. How would you describe it? personality-wise?
Well, I say Chris is kind of the old head. He's the oldest one of the group. He's been here the longest. I say he's honestly the quietest too. And I say me, I say I bring the juice. I'm the hype man. I'm always hyper. I like joking around. I'm just like when they're tired or down or something in the morning, I'm like in their face, like, let's go. And Logan is do it all. Logan has his moods. Logan could be one day he's a little quiet. One day he's the hype man when I'm down, not trying to do a thing. He's the one that's in your face. Let's go. And he's just like, I feel like he's just like a brother to all of us. Logan, he's the one who I feel like if you need a ride somewhere, Logan's will be the one you can ask for a ride. He's just that guy who's going to be there for everyone.
Wow, I mean that's a pretty beautiful thing to say about your teammate. I mean that's a wonderful compliment, man. I want to go back to this is a football podcast, yes, but we're also interested in people, human beings, right? And you're a human being. Where are you living on campus? What dorm were you in? You know, what has that experience been like for you, just being in a random dorm with random roommates?
Oh yeah, that was an experience. It was a really good experience. So last year I was in Fisher Hall for my whole year. And the first semester I had a random roommate, and it was a pretty good experience just meeting other kids outside of my circle, my group, the kids who I'm with every day. So that just helps you build connections and just helps you like really see how Notre Dame really is outside the football facilities. You get to like experience new people, new things, and meet a lot of new people. So I think that's a great thing that Notre Dame does. And currently I live in Campus Court with Logan and Blake Fisher. Those are my two roommates now. So yeah, that's where I've been living since June.
Oh, fantastic. And what major are you? What are you studying?
I'm a political science major. Yep.
Okay. Why did you choose political science?
Because I'm big into politics and stuff, and I like kind of history classes and criminal classes, and that's really what the course really requires. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm more of a paper writer more than an exam writer. So I can write a 20-page paper. I'd rather like 20, 50-page paper any day over taking an exam, even though when I got to take an exam, I'll be prepared for it. But I'm just more of a writer and reader, and that's what political science is, and that's what I like.
You would really rather write a 20-page paper than just take a 100 questions? Really? Wow.
Yes,
have you always been that way? Have always been a writer?
Yeah, I've always been a writer. You can ask, a lot of people are different, but some people look at me like I'm crazy, but I'd rather just write. I don't mind. I don't mind writing. Writing doesn't really fear me.
Well, so when you think about, okay, wow. So do you write like just, creatively as well?
Yeah. I say I'm not really a creative writer, but I really just write what's about the prompt, like research papers. Like I like doing research papers because that's really when you really learn a lot of things that you don't know. So like you're doing a lot of research and then you got to write down what you learn and you got to bring in things from class and all that. So I just feel like writing just brings your thoughts together. It makes you really think about things. And I like that.
How does that translate? This might be a reach, I don't know, but how does that translate to the way you approach the game as a running back? Like research and bringing that together?
As a running back, you got to find, not just as a running back, as a football player, you got to find ways to get better that just doesn't happen overnight. You got to go out your way to do your research, ask your coach, study film, study prior backs that were in your position before. So I just feel like you got to do a lot of research to be to play at the highest level and be the best as I want to be.
I've been walking the sideline sometimes the past couple of years, but this year I remember at Ohio State, I saw Jerome Bettis. It was like there, and I know he's there often. Have you had a conversation with Jerome Bettis? I know you're huge. He's huge. Do you guys share some knowledge?
Yeah, for sure. I haven't spoke to Bettis recently, but like he was around more in the springtime and stuff when he was taking classes, and I definitely got to speak to him and got to pick his mind a little bit.
What did he teach you? I mean, he's a legend.
Oh yeah, he just teach me like trust your coaches. They're here for a reason. They know what they're talking about, and just really just everything, like the little stuff, like stretching and all that, taking care of your body, watching film and all that, just all the little stuff.
So when you think about this season, the way that Notre Dame's season's gone so far, how do you continue to build on this momentum? Because you guys are you've been clicking. It looked like, as far as just watching television, you guys are like starting to find that rhythm. But, I'm curious, being in the locker room, being at practice every day, how are you thinking about going and keeping this momentum going?
Honestly, just taking it one day at a time, 1 week at a time. No matter what our outcome was last week, win or loss, it's a new week. We have a new opportunity. And that's really what we've been priding ourselves this year, is just every week's a new week. And that's how we stay tunnel vision. Just look at what's right here, right now in front of us, not what's ahead of us or not what's in the past. So that's what we've been doing. And I think that's been working out pretty well. And we're going to keep on doing that for the rest of the remainder of the year.
And before I let you go, I got to ask, I know you said you're close to your family and you're from New York.
Sure.
I guess, are you homesick? You're far away from home.
I don't know. I say I miss my family, and I miss my family, and I do miss New York and New Jersey. But like, I'm out in South Bend, Indiana for one reason: this is to handle business, and I feel like I gotta handle my business and accomplish what I came here to accomplish first, and then I'll go back to New York and New Jersey and settle down. But I just got to handle my business here in South Bend first. So I miss home, but I wouldn't say I'm homesick.
Gotcha. And the last question I have for you is when you think about, beyond football, I know you want to handle business. I know, but the game eventually ends for all of us.
For sure.
What would you like to do post football many, many years from now?
Honestly, that's why I came to Notre Dame, honestly, because Notre Dame gives you the best opportunity on the field, but not just that, just off the field, and just when your game of football comes to end. So like, when I'm done, I would like to be a lawyer, but that require more school, which I'm gonna do once I'm done playing football. So I say I want to be a lawyer when I'm all said and done. Yeah, a lawyer, and probably own my own little business. But lawyers, I always wanted to be a lawyer since I was a little kid, and just because I'm a football player now, that's not going to stop.
So you were a little kid, you wanted to be a lawyer?
Yeah, I wanted to be an NFL player too, but like my mom and like family always just embedded in me like football doesn't last forever. Like, you got to have something like you need to fall back on. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a lawyer then if that doesn't work out. But so yeah, I say I'm gonna be a lawyer, and that's still what I want to accomplish when I'm done playing this football game, hopefully for a couple more years.
Is there a reason why you wanted to be a lawyer? Is it someone you looked up to, or what's the reason? You just ask any of my family or friends. I just say I'm good. I'm good at getting my point, my statement across. So I'm good at that. Good arguing cases. Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, this has been a very interesting interview, Audric, because I thought about, well, you're probably the first person I've ever met that enjoys research, and you want to be a lawyer. That's wonderful. Best of luck to you, and we cannot wait to watch you this weekend against Clemson.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It was nice talking to you guys.
Make NBC Sports Predictor a pregame ritual every week. Play Irish Pick'em for free and have a chance to win $10,000 each week. Rush the end zone and download NBC Sports Predictor app today on the App Store and Google Play Store. Thank you so much, Audric. I really enjoyed talking to you too. So let's go back to 2020, shall we? This was a crazy game. I mean, the word instant classic is thrown. I mean, the phrase instant classic is thrown out, I think, way too much. It seems like every game of consequence, it just ends up being an instant classic. I like to reserve it for special games like this, like a double overtime win under the lights against the number one team in the country, two unbeatens at that moment. That would be the definition. I think it would qualify for an instant classic. This actually fits the bill. And the game itself was strange. I was there. This was one of those moments. It was strange for a lot of reasons. One, the stalling offense by Notre Dame. Two, Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing. DJ Uiagalelei was playing. And by the way, I met him when he was in high school. Him and Bryce Young, this is a crazy story. So him and Bryce Young were All-Americans, and I was working on the All-American game in San Antonio, my hometown. And we got to sit down with both of them prior to the game because they were quarterbacking, both teams for this All-Star game. And I remember right then and there thinking, whoa, these guys are special. But DJ, he's a really interesting guy. He not only, is he a physical specimen, supremely talented as well, being that size, being able to throw the way he can. But he's also really funny and like really laid back and chill. So I was very excited to watch him play at this moment to see what he would do in this moment. And he ended up having a record performance, throwing for over 400 yards. And essentially, his debut under the lights, very exciting for DJ Uiagalelei. But the reason why this was so strange beyond those, because there were only like a little over 11,000 people there. And I don't know if you've been to Notre Dame Stadium. That's not that many people. So when you were in the stands, we were in the stands doing the pregame show, me, Jack Collinsworth, and Doug Flutie. We're doing the pregame show, and we're like in the lower bowl, and there's no one around us. They're just like lights in the, like by the wooden bleachers above the field. I'm watching Clemson warm up. I'm looking at Travis Etienne go through his warm-ups, and I'm in the stands standing around, and there's no one around. Like, it's just empty except for like this small little student section. It was a very weird environment for such a big game, and it was surprisingly very loud. I don't understand how that worked either. We went back in to watch the game because we watched the game underneath the stadium so we can watch all the other games as well, because we do the halftime show. So we got to update you on other games, what's happening around college football. But then after that, it was the fourth quarter, and I was like, look, this game is getting crazy. I mean, there's a 2-minute drive scenario. We have to go out there. So we ended up going back out and watching half of the fourth quarter, or the majority. I can't remember exactly how much, but we watched the fourth quarter in the arena and saw it all happen. I was standing right behind the cheer section by the end zone behind Notre Dame's bench. And like the cheerleaders were waving the flag right in front of me. I mean, it's a huge flag. And as the Leprechaun was just running up and down. And then when Notre Dame won, everyone just rushed past me to rush the field. And I was in awe. I was just absolutely just confused. I've never seen anything like that before. So that environment was electric, absolutely, absolutely electric, despite being, like I said, followed by a lot of asterisks. Like Trevor Lawrence is playing and COVID, and it was very strange, but it's a very special game. Now, to go into the gameplay, we should just look at highlights, shouldn't we? Like, who doesn't like to look at highlights? So off to Mike Tirico and Tony Dungy for a highlight package about the Clemson game.
As number 1 undefeated Clemson visits number 4 undefeated Notre Dame. Same generation as his quarterback. Here's the give, Kyron Williams left side into the secondary. Williams down the sideline. Kyron Williams might go. Notre Dame touchdown.
Yeah, you're going to see some slanting, and the Notre Dame offensive line zone blocked it and picked it up. Created a great space, and then this is what Kyron Williams can do. He throws. Turner ran right around him. Couldn't get him down. Big start for the Irish.
65-yard run for the sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri. It's 8 points you leave on the table against a great team. Oh, on the toss, it's right in the hands of Owusu Koramoah, who will score! Touchdown! Bouncing off of Etienne into the arms of Owusu Koramoah for the second straight week. A running play to Etienne turns into an opponent's touchdown.
You're going to see him here. Amari Rogers is supposed to block him, but he blitzes. Etienne takes his eye off it, sees him, takes his eye off the pitch. It's a touchdown for Notre Dame. Great players making great plays in the moment.
Just a crazy play. Clemson shows pressure. Here they come with 5. It's picked up, and Book's going to take that shot. Now here's Avery Davis, 20, Davis 10. First and goal for the Irish at the 5. Third and goal for Notre Dame.
And Russ playing coverage.
Book on the roll, he throws end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown by Davis. And Andrew Williams, the blocking, and tight ends on that side. To the goal line it is Kyron Williams for a Notre Dame touchdown. And an extra point from a tie game. Moving up on this beautiful night here in South Bend. Second and goal for the Irish after the timeout. Williams right to the right side. Powers to the end zone. And Kyron Williams scores again for Notre Dame. Tommy Tremble, the junior from Jones Creek, Georgia. Fierce blocker from the tight end position.
Good double team at the point of attack. Good kick out block and a good strong hard run by Kyron Williams.
Jonathan Dorr for the extra point. Knocks it through. Irish stop. They knock off number 1. 4 to the right. Uyunglele fakes that. He's in trouble. He is sacked. Bauer buzzes out for coverage. Uyunglele hit from behind. Dalen Hayes jumps up and gets him. Russian 3. Drop it 8. Uyunglele steps up, loads and throws. It's caught. It's pitched backwards, up in the air. It's on the ground, still in Clemson's hands. And now it is down. It is over. And the Irish have knocked off number 1 Clemson.
It's a weekend of must-watch events on NBC and Peacock. It all begins with the horses at the Breeders' Cup Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by Tigers. That's right, the Clemson Tigers taking on Notre Dame football in South Bend, and capped off with Saturday Night Live. The action continues Sunday with the NASCAR Cup Series Championship at 3 p.m. and the Titans battling the Chiefs in Sunday Night Football starting at 7 p.m., all on NBC and Peacock. Wow, that's a lot of really high-profile events. So this weekend, now we can zoom in. We saw back in 2020 a game of epic proportions, an actual instant classic. This weekend, who knows what could happen? We know that Notre Dame, this team, plays good teams well. We saw a good first half, although it was sloppy football all around by everybody, all parties involved, with Ohio State, Notre Dame. That was a top 5 matchup. Sloppy first half, but Notre Dame won the first half. Everything fell apart in the second half. This team has matured since then, and they've had some big wins to hopefully bolster their confidence in the weeks since. Now they have another chance against a number 5 ranked Clemson. Can they do it? We will see. I'm more optimistic than usual. I'm very optimistic generally as a person. I'm very hopeful. But seeing that this team beat Ohio State the first half, and then fell apart the second half, and then in the weeks since, they've actually grown against good teams. I think we might see an upset in the Irish's favor, which would shock most people, I would say. I mean, this Clemson team is really good. So we will see. We'll be back next week with reactions to this epic matchup versus Clemson and preview Notre Dame's next game, where they're going to head to M&T Bank Stadium this season for their annual contest against Navy. So be sure to download and subscribe to the Notre Dame on NBC podcast on the NBC Sports YouTube channel and wherever you get your audio podcasts. Irish.